Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. We are here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the second to last race of the season. Not just the regular season. We are at the, say one more week, we'll be at the championship finale at Daytona International Speedway. Apologies. But tonight we are here at Atlanta for a scheduled 90 laps distance. As always, there is one faster pair available for all these trucks, 3 green-white checkers should we need them. And these drivers, again, going for that title, those in that top 12. Right now, everybody's putting down their qualifying laps. So while we get into that, let's go and pull up our our point standings going into tonight. As right now you can see it's Dude Conrad with a 1-point lead over Jason Bogart. Jason getting that huge win last week. So say he's got that 1-point difference to get to. Only 10 points out of lead, that number 51, Jim Brooks. But Steele's right there, Vicente Guerrero, only 3 points behind him as well. So Bud and Vicente right there tied for 4th at the moment. But you can see on the tiebreaker side of things, it's going to go to Bud Steele as he has a win in the season. So definitely keep an eye on that for those tiebreakers. Seth Groover is in 6th, and then you got Eric Laurie, Rick Sanchez, and Patrick Groover. Those are really the ones that I'm going to be thinking probably have the most realistic window for points to get in. So you see Corey Buskirk, Ryan Decker, and Brendan Briggs. Unfortunately, they've missed at least one of the playoff races. So, but again, they're here to race. They want to try to get the best results they can for themselves. Maybe try to work with some teammates. I mean, you never know. So hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. I know, unfortunately, we're kind of competing against some actual, real life circles versus virtual circles. So don't worry, no spoilers getting laid out over there though. But yeah, so right now everybody's getting those laps in here tonight. And also do want to remind you as well that second to last race on Tuesday night will be over on the IndyCar series, that Area 51 Dark Horse series. So that second to last race will be on Tuesday night, which then leaves us Thursday night. Again, that one's a little off sequence just because of everything that had been going on. So they will have race number 2 of their playoffs coming up on Thursday at iRacing Super Speedway for that Xfinity series. So with that, we'll put our driver info back on here, and we'll pull up our timing and scoring on the top side. Caitlin, good to see you. So we missed you guys recently. Hope all is well. But yeah, let's say right now, let's say over on the top side, again, you're going to see those names highlighted in green. Those are the playoff drivers where they are currently showing in qualifying. Still got just a little bit of time left in qualifying, so we'll see if there's any late additions that jump up towards the top of the charts. But right now, it's one of the regulars, though, one of the non-playoff drivers, though one of the regulars, who's currently sitting at the top spot. So we'll see if anybody's got something to try to see if they can pull one out there and grab something at the end. And it looks like just around 20-ish drivers here tonight. So I'm saying at Atlanta, that's more than plenty. So it should be a lot of fun. Belva, good to see you. Hope you are having a good evening. And so definitely looking to see what Rick's got in store for us. And say not going to do any chance of a commentator's curse, because I'll say this is, again, one of those tracks where, to me, Atlanta, iRacing Super Speedway, those are, to me, kind of races that are wild cards. These are like the wild cards of wild cards. iRacing Super Speedway, due to the speeds, these guys able to go 230 plus. Atlanta, it's a 1.5 mile track. It's really quick. It's really narrow at speed. A lot can happen. Also, 2 of the most difficult pit roads to get in and out of during green flag pit stop cycles. So there's going to be a lot to play for here. It's going to be fun to see how it does pan out. Of course, we'll try to spy on some of the drivers, see who they're working with in the Discords. Right now, I see there's about 4 drivers over on the Bootknocker side of things with Dude Conrad, Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler, and Kevin Fries. Over on the Roswell side, there's a pretty solid group over there. Looks like they've got about, I want to say maybe 7-8 drivers in there, as well as we got 3 over on the TW side of things with Dean Wilkinson. So he's got some great help with Adam Kilday as well as Rick Sanchez. So Dean's going to have some really good help over there with him. So it's going to be really fun to see how that's all going to shake out. But before we get to any of that, we're going to get a good look here at our pit lane exit. As you see, Kevin Fries, that is our pole sitter for tonight. And so let's go ahead and pull up that starting grid for tonight's event. As it will be Kevin Fries over Vicente Guerrero by 0.15 of a second. 15 thousandths of a second, apologies. Rick Sanchez there in third. Dude Conrad, Bud Steele are top 5. Then you got Seth Groover, Eric Laurie, Patrick Groover, Dean Wilkinson, Quabi Brooks, Jason Bogart, Ryan Decker are top 12. Continuing down the order here, you've got the Nick Wing, Adam Kilday, and then from 15th on back, these drivers opting not to put down a qualifying lap, including Gabe Butler, Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, Ambrose Kniebel, Frank Ranger Jr., and Brandon Briggs. So it looks like 20 trucks on the dot have went ahead and joined the session for tonight. I say not quite all of them have gridded yet, waiting for, looks like, one more truck. And then saying, I believe, we'll double check for sure, but I believe shortly we'll have a Matt Wagner popping in, but he might be trying to take care of a couple things on the back end. So worst case scenario, you might be stuck with me, but either way, we'll definitely be getting this one covered. So yeah, like I said, thank you all for joining, for supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. Again, always a pleasure. I don't take it obviously for granted. Know that you guys are taking time out to watch and support your friends and family and all that. And so yeah, definitely always appreciate that. And like I said, if you've got a favorite driver, let us know who it is, and we will, again, no shame in my game, I will definitely steal some extra attention for them as that pace truck, or pace car I should say, leading the trucks out of pit road. Does look like all 20 trucks did grid. So we will have a 20 truck field here for tonight's event. And I say again, we talked about no shame. We're going to kick it off right off the bat. There is that number 48, I apologize, of Ryan Decker right there. And we got to jump over to the number 5 truck in that third spot of Rick Sanchez. And then last week's winner, that number 10, Jason Bogart. Say he is going to be rolling off there in the 11th position. Right there behind that number 55 of Dean Wilkinson. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what these trucks have in store for us tonight. Strategy is going to be big. Driver communication with each other, with their teammates, is going to be critical as well. So yeah, so we'll have to see. And at some point, we're going to have to take a look at the hood of that number 8 truck, because I'm very intrigued to see what's on that one. So say, if I don't remember, remind me. Let's go see who's on that hood of that number 8 of Duke Conrad, because he's always got something fun going on. However, pace car's just about to make that left off of the racing surface. Hand it over to our front row. Wait for that flagman to throw it, and we will be underway here. Green flag's out. 90 laps here at Atlanta. Kevin Free is going to lead the field into one. Again, you see on the ticker now on the left side, those highlighted in the green, those are the playoff drivers. So right now you see 2nd through 8th full of playoff drivers. Kevin Freese spoiling the party at the very front in that number 25 truck. But again, though, I have a feeling at some point Kevin's going to be kind of try to play helper to that number 8 and the 071 at some point. You see Ryan Decker, Jason Bogart, 11th and 12th, and then the furthest back at the moment, the 51 and the 81 in 17th and 18th of our playoff contenders. I was watching practice a little earlier. I did see some drivers kind of working on trying to be aggressive, see what you could and could not do with pushing and bump drafting and such. And I definitely saw a couple times where there'd be a slight bump through 3 and 4, trying to push and help the other driver out. And it really seemed to just send them around. So I think these guys are going to have to kind of pick and choose where they want to make these big pushes happen to make something, to maybe try to play it a little safer. Until we get to the later portions of the race, of course, where the risks start to ramp up and the aggression kicks in, as in all that we usually see in these races. So right now, again, not a lot of change up front at the moment. These guys pretty much running right where they qualified. Brandon Briggs in the 81, he has climbed a couple spots. He's up 4 into 16th at the moment. Do have 2 trucks way off the back already. A little nervous about that. Frank Ranger Jr. about a second off of Jack Walls. Ambrose Kniebel about 1.3 seconds off of Frank. So these 2 guys might be at risk of losing the draft. I'll keep an eye on lap times, on track. But yeah, I'll definitely have to keep an eye on them, and hopefully they're able to tag back in. I think Frank is actually starting to go back the right way. As I can tell you, actually last time by, he was about 2/10 quicker than Jack Walls. So that all looks to be going definitely the right direction here. Oh, a little but contact for the 6 and 32. I'll say definitely going to catch their attention, but both trucks are able to hang on to it. But you know that caught the attention of the 6, especially because, again, that's where things you get a little dicey there. You see Patrick there trying to work his way up towards his brother. But again, though, just as fast as these trucks are going, as short as this track is, again, it's a 1.5 mile oval, but with this reconfiguration, it races so much faster. And so that's kind of what we're seeing here so far this evening. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump out the back here. Oh, there's too much spoiler in the way. Can't get a good look at what's on that on the hood of that number 8 of Dude Conrad. But yeah, right now these guys still, again, just completely locked in here 2 by 2. And yeah, right now, let's say there's not a lot. Let's say Brandon Briggs is the only one that's kind of started a little further back that said, you know what, let me jump to the top. Let me push my way forward and get myself in a better position. I believe, once again, fuel window here should be in the mid-20s. I want to say, again, usually they have the setup set up in a way where this should be a 3-stop pit road, or pit stop, I should say, setup race, especially if it goes caution-free. Obviously, unfortunately, last week had a little bit of hiccups on the fuel side of things with that new build updates. Say admins already quickly were making remedies to that and adjusting it to avoid those future occurrences. That said, with this track being narrower, to be able to run that amount of laps means they got to reduce the fuel tank size in these trucks, which means pit stops take a lot shorter time to happen. So that opens up a lot of strategy. Do you want to take 2 tires? Do you want to take no tires? Do you think 4 tires is actually going to be worthwhile to try to, maybe you can gain that track position back? There's a lot of discussions on what's going to be the right call to do. So, but right now, though, you can see that 5 and the 25, they seem pretty comfortable just kind of rolling together here on the inside line. No big moves, anything like that. Again, I think everybody's just kind of settling into it a little bit, get themselves in that position they want to be in, and then, of course, then start trying to make their moves later on. And again, this is a track that, without question, you will go a lap down during a green flag pit stop. So that's also going to play in mind. And I wonder if that's what we're seeing here for some of these guys a little further back, led off by Adam Kilday. These guys give themselves a little bit of breathing space in case something happens in front. But then also probably not running this thing to the floor, probably rolling half, 3/4 throttle, saving as much fuel as they can. Maybe try to go that critical extra lap or so in order to try to maybe do a slightly different pit strategy. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one, of course, as well. The 2 burning the most fuel, obviously, will be Kevin Freeze, Vicente Guerrero. I would put Rick up in that window as well, along with Dude Conrad, as those are usually the second cars also pushing. Will be definitely burning a little bit extra fuel. And then from that 3rd, 4th cars in the rows, that's where also a lot of fuel saving can come in. And then even more so as you start getting further down the order. And of course, on the inside line, if you're running that shorter distance, so like a Ryan Decker, a Jason Bogart, those guys are in really good spots right now to just kind of roll the bottom, save a bunch of fuel, and maybe try to go that extra lap, as we just saw for a second. The 54 and the 14, just slight contact there. Looks like everything's okay, but again, these guys are getting pretty tight on each other at times, and yeah, just little hiccups can go, unfortunately, a very long way. But right now, I'm saying momentum's definitely going to that inside line, because Bud Steele's gotten pretty close here to have a chance to try to see if he can snag that 3rd spot securely, and if he chooses to, maybe jump up to that top side and try to take control of this race. But the way things are going right now, if I'm Bud here, I might be pretty content here just to kind of ride in this inside line, keep saving the fuel, let the 5 and 25 lead this pack as they have been. The other thing, of course, we still need to mention is that trial here at Atlanta. Because again, it comes through, and it's, especially if you're on the top side, it's a very abrupt angle. So it makes it very tricky, a little, I wouldn't say sketchy, but a little unnerving at times, because if you hit that angle wrong, it's really easy to get up into that outside wall. I'll see if we can get a good look at it here for you guys to kind of get that view. Because say here's as they come through that entry, and you can see everybody hugged it nice and tight there. And so that's what you're going to want to have on those situations. So yeah, so right now we do have the 19 of the 20 trucks as all teammates almost getting door to door to each other, the 071, the 8. But yeah, right now though, definitely looks to be 19 trucks are all together. Unfortunately, the 04, he's kind of off on his lonesome at the moment as he's about to enter turn number 3. Leaders coming out of turn number 4 as we speak. So say unfortunately not too far away most likely from getting put a lap down. Leaders running a little over second, almost second and a half quicker than him, pretty much from lap to lap. And that, again, that just shows you the outright pace of the draft. That, let's say again, that's kind of what you expect to see in these situations here. Of course, also do need to mention there is that yellow line rule, or in this case the red and white line rule. So you are not supposed to basically go below that line to make a pass. Obviously, you're going to see drivers occasionally duck below it, especially when they're running 2x2, because they're trying to make sure that they give that truck on the outside a little bit of extra room. I say that one, there's a lot of leeway. It's more of if you're making that big sharp left way down almost towards the grass, if you will, just to maybe try to shortcut a little bit or jump in front of somebody. And of course, also if there's an incident, you're trying to go down there to avoid it. Those are things that are kind of, they understand. Like, again, that's not going to be like a super aggressive judgment type situation, but that is something that we have seen come into play at this track before. And again, just the way the trial was here is definitely is one that does come into play. So right now, Frank Ranger Jr., again, he's just kind of cruise control here in that 17 truck. Again, he's got the whole field right here, just all right in front of him. But again, he's safely in the draft right now, so he doesn't have to worry about it. He just needs to kind of just ride a little bit. And the nice part is where he is, he can basically take any line he wants to. So he can arc it in, let it open up the wheel, let it drift all the way out, be as easy on the tires as he can possibly be. It's only going to help. You see right there, kind of enters middle, lets it wash up about a half a lane. And then he goes ahead and kind of does like kind of hold it towards the middle. And again, running that middle lane will let the wheel stay opened up a little bit, which means less wear on that right front tire. And again, you see enters low, drifts up about a half a groove one more time, and then kind of starts to bring it back down on the exit. So again, this is one of those things you can get away with and you can take advantage of, especially when you're in this situation, just because of exactly that. But right now though, like I said, if you're here, things are a little dicier for you. So these guys are having to really kind of keep it pitched down. Like the 8 truck now, the 53 truck, they've got to be pretty aggressive on just making sure they stay as close to that white line as they can without going too low and catching the apron. But I say a certain eagle-eyed mom is about to notice there's some teammates and brothers lined up together on the top side. This is probably the first time that we've had maybe a more aggressive group get locked on together here with Patrick and Seth Gruber. So expect to see them start to make some charge here and try to see if they can get up into those top 2 or 3 spots. But again, though, we're already on lap 22 of 90, so looming already is going to be those potential green flag pit stops. So again, depending on how hard some of these drivers have had to run, that's going to come into play. And also, you just saw there in the foreground, here comes Ambrose Kniebel. The leaders are going to be coming up on him in just a split second. You can go 3 wide here. It gets pretty tight, so unfortunately for Ambrose, he's going to probably have to try to keep it as tight to the wall as he can. And this is always, again, where things get just really close-quartered here. Everybody's got to try to mind their P's and Q's. And so far, looking so good. I think it's just these guys here that are going to be double files. You see, just got a little unsettled there. However, able to keep it up against the wall there. And he's going to be able to, so unfortunately, it's going to cost him the draft, but able to keep that truck in one piece and pointed forward still. But yeah, so that's the risk and that's the concern of when you get up into that third lane there, is just, again, especially for him as well, is because he's in that bad spot with the pace difference, because again, these guys are full draft. They were going about 30.5 second laps compared last time by, he ran a 35 second lap, trying to let those guys safely on through. And when there's that big of a speed difference, that's always going to be an issue. And so he did the best he could there. It's a tough position to be in. I've been there, done that myself, and it's never a fun thing to do. So right now, I'll say for Rick Sanchez, let's say based on the way this race has started here, The 5 truck probably going to have dreams of Budweiser later in the night, because that's all he has seen from the start of this race is that sponsor on the rear deck lid, sorry, on the rear bumper, I should say, of that number 25 of Kevin Freeze. And that's another interesting part of super speedway racing, is a lot of times you're pretty much stuck right on the back of somebody for a long time. So you'll see a lot of sponsors there. And say Jude Conrad, he might be in a similar situation, because we've got a sister Budweiser truck there to that number 5, and that is that number 14 of Vicente Guerrero. So say that's going to be for Jude Conrad. Might be the same thing. He's going to be thinking Budweiser after this race. So maybe, I say, if we can get some of those, maybe we get an interview from the 8 or the 5, we can ask them how it felt to be kind of following a sponsorship for a good chunk of this race here tonight. However, looking at the numbers, again, we're on lap 27 now. Again, I had mentioned maybe mid-20s. If these guys can go to lap 30, 31, 32, that's telling me 2-stop race in this one. So that could also change things. And say, again, unfortunately, I'm not able to hear if there's going to be any drivers peeling off. So we're going to kind of be at the discretion of watching what's happening on track. But right now, I haven't seen anybody really show their hand that they're thinking about coming in. So I think right now things looking pretty comfortable for a good chunk of this truck, or a good chunk of this field. As I jumped over to that Goodwrench truck here of Nick Wingan. Nick always bouncing around really fun paint schemes, usually a lot of throwback schemes as well. And I say what I have standing out to me is, I believe I saw on the front splitter, if you will. I think I saw Silverado on there. That's a fun little edit detail there. That is not Kermit the Frog. That is Don's favorite character, and and the name of the driver of that number 5 truck. See if we can look out the back of him there. Yeah, there he is. The scientist himself, Mr. Rick Sanchez. So you can see he looks a little bored at the moment there behind the wheel of that number 5 truck. Very serious face. Don't see much emotion change going on there. But yeah, and again, little things like that I love about iRacing is they've made these adjustments where you can have a custom helmet, you can have a custom driver suit, and the originality some of these drivers are able to do is just a lot of fun. And so yeah, so I do enjoy that kind of that Rick has gone full in on the Rick and Morty Rick Sanchez. So it's a lot of fun. Also, hope you're doing well, man. I'm glad to have you over here. However, like I mentioned, we are already past lap 30. So to me, this means right now at this point, it will be a 2-stop race to the finish if we go green start to finish. You see Gabe Butler now. He's gotten underneath Brendan Briggs. You saw the flames come out of the 88 truck right there. That was Gabe rolling off the throttle not to get into the back of that 10 of Jason Bogart. Those two were kind of fighting for the same real estate. But what I'm starting to see is some drivers start peeking to the top, which means I think that pit window's very close to start opening. So I say we're going to jump a little bit back forward, because here we go. Pit stops are starting to happen. This is where things can get a little scary. And big entry there. A little contact. More contact. The 6 around from the contact from the 48. He's going to have to 10 getting spun around there as well. That's not what you want to see on those pit road entries. Let's go back and try to catch what happened to Jason here, because he had that contact. And, the 28 trying to avoid the 48. And, man. So that pit strategy by all these guys just completely undone. We're going to jump back and see, and no response. And honestly, right now, that's going to be the right decision. I think the 53 truck, I think it looks like, I'm waiting to see, but I don't know if there's any pit penalties yet. However, a lot of very slow pit stops. Everybody was in the 14, 15 second window. But again, you can see though, these guys are all super spread out. And then again, just really slow. And I'll tell you what the pit lane times were afterwards. Here come the Groover brothers. They're going to come in just the duo. And it looks like, that looks too hot for Patrick. I think Seth's going to be okay. I'm a little worried for the 54 truck. I think Patrick may have got into pit road too quickly there. So we'll keep an eye on his pit lane time. But right now, I like the idea of short pitting. But again, though, this is a track you will go a lap down at. So in this situation, I like to run this long just to avoid that risk of being put down a lap. Then saying, looks like we're going to have a good chunk of the field heading in this time by Kevin Freeze, bringing him down. This looks much cleaner, much more organized. Very great entry by these guys as the Groover's starting to roll out of pit road. And yeah, actually, Seth and Patrick, good to go. They got in and no penalties, so great job by those two. I honestly am surprised by it. So now that leaves these 4 trucks: Gabe Butler, Brendan Briggs, Dean Wilkinson, and Jack Walls. They'll be coming in, I believe, this time coming towards lap number 36 here. And yeah, you can see, I'll say a lot calmer when you get less and less trucks. Looks to be a pretty clean entry for them as well. And oh no, I see a long pit stop here. Now he's down and away. Wonder if he had to throw that truck possibly in reverse, because he had about a 20-second pit stop. It shows on my screen for Rick Sanchez. So again, I'll have to wait and see. There goes Jim Brooks, Ryan Decker. You see Quabi Brooks a little bit further back in tow. But this field is going to be extremely broken up here after this pit cycle. So yeah, so what we're going to do is once everything completely cycles through, I'll show you where everybody is. Brendan Briggs is going to be the quickest out of pit road from those that just pitted last time by, but he's about to get completely overrun by those two right there. Seth and Patrick Groover, they went on a bit of a gamble. They went with a shorter pit stop, 9.5, 10.2, compared to everybody else, 12, 13, 14 second pit stop. So it looks like these guys should cycle out right here with the pack, but there's going to be a few that are going to have to try to hustle to get back up there. So again, so right now here's our top 2. They pitted together. They're on lap 33. 9.5, 10.3 seconds for the 2 of them. Again, I'm blown away that Patrick was able to get in without a penalty, because that looked like a really fast entry. So what we'll do in just a moment is we're going to compare lap times. And actually what I'm going to do is I don't even have to tell you lap times. If you look at your timing scoring on the left, that will show you the previous lap times. So you can see there, Seth and Patrick were in the 30.18, 30.17, 30.22. Jim Brooks, 29.31. So he was almost a second quicker. And so again, the lap times are just about to update now. And it's settled in a little bit this time around. Now it was only about 0.4 of a second. As right now, those two have about 3 seconds ahead of third place, who is that 51 truck. And so he's got Kevin Freeze, Vicente Guerrero, Dude Conrad. Say all of these guys are all right together here all the way to 11th. Then you've got another pack here with Dean Wilkinson. He's kind of off by his lonesome at the moment. He's about to get help from Jack Walls and Eric Laurie. Unfortunately, kind of off on his own little island at the moment is Rick Sanchez in the 5. And then Bud Steele, Nick Wing, Jason Bogart. We saw them. They all had unfortunately, their little excursions during their pit road cycle. So right now they're in that group with those 3. And then Frank Ranger Jr. there. He is, unfortunately, kind of lost the group. And it looks like the 04 of Ambrose Kniebel has retired from the event. But what I can tell you is that 3-second gap, I'm sure you've been able to look over on the left side. You can see it's almost down to 2 seconds. And 1, that's the number of trucks. 2 versus about 10 almost. And 2 tires versus 4 tires. So this is the tire difference that we had been talking about. You see Kevin Freeze there just going to get some clean air on the front of his truck there on the entry. Come straight away time, he's going to try to lock back onto the back of Jim Brooks here and continue to try to push him forward here to the front. And we're here on board with Kevin Freeze, and you can see again the Groover's getting smaller and smaller. Jim is safely now in their draft window here, and so he's about to pull right back up to those 2, and that's going to give us 12 trucks out of the 19 that were all together at the beginning before the pit stop window. So we've lost about 7 trucks, it looks like, in the draft. I can tell you can see right there Dean Wilkinson. He's right back in the thick of it. So good job by Dean to get these guys back in draft. But yeah, now Seth and Patrick, they've got competition. It's going to be with Kevin and Jim. And we'll see if Kevin can complete the push here down the backstretch. Right now, he's got a nose ahead. Kevin's got a nose ahead, and Jim's going to clear. Will Kevin? Yes, he will as well. So move that 51 to the point now. So it looks like he will lead here lap number 43. And so now, again, strategy is going to come in a little bit. It looks like fuel will be a non-issue, especially just with the fact that we saw everybody was able to go 30-plus laps. The guys that pitted on 31, I think that's a stretch strategy calls. Jim's going to get put 3 wide here in the middle. He has a slide opening. Yep, he's going to slide in right in front of Vicente. I think Vicente opened up a window for him to get down there. That was a nice offer by Vicente, very generous there to let Jim slot back into line, I should say. And now look at the 8-truck dude, Conrad. He's going to try to work the outside of his teammate of Kevin Freeze, see if he can put that 8-truck to the front. And there he goes and say, yeah, we're going to see who this young number 1 fella is there on the hood. Like I said, I've got questions that hopefully we'll get a top 3 interview with him, or maybe we can quiz one of his teammates if they wind up in the top 3. However, we've got this second pack now. They've got themselves assembled. You've got the 5, the 6, the 28, and the 10. Last time by, they were a couple tenths quicker than leaders. Unfortunately, though, the issue is the distance they have right now. As the leaders are just about to enter turn number 3, they're just coming out of turn number 2, so they're pretty much a full straightaway behind. But I can tell you, Rick ran a 29.84. Kevin and dude there, they ran a 30.40. Contact in the back, caution is out. Ryan Decker, we saw big in the wall. Brandon Briggs as well. Whole front clip here of that 48 trucks, missing the front bumper of the 81. You'll see the other trucks right there. They're going to squeeze by the middle. Caution is out. This is the first incident of the night right at halfway. And unfortunately, Ryan's truck, I think, had no choice how to take a tow, because I'm pretty sure that engine was pretty much toast there. Let's see what happened here. And it was right through the tri-oval. I'm wondering if maybe a bump gone wrong here. So we'll take a look here as we come through 3 and 4. We'll speed up just a little bit here as we get through. And then now we'll back it down. And you can see a little bit of a slide. Nothing too worrying there. But let's get a better angle of that, because you can see I'm almost right up it looked like there may have been a push that unsettled the 48, and then in trying to correct it right there, he's trying to catch it. You can see the wheels trying to catch it, and then at that point the 81's on the corner there, and huge hits for the 2. And the 53 definitely gets a piece as well to his right front there. I think those 3 may be the only ones involved as we kind of continue to go through here and take a look. And yeah, it looks like those 3 will be the only ones involved in that incident. Leaders are on pit road. So what we will do is we're going to try to do a quick commercial break. Unfortunately, in this case, it's going to be for sponsoring that truck that was just in the wreck, but we'll be right back.
At Scentsy, we love fragrance, how it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsy's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsy products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsy Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsy business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsy consultant for more info.
All right, we are back. Lights are off of the pace car. Did have a few trucks with some lengthier pit stops to 53. I think initially opted to try to save that fast pair, but you see he's back in. I'm thinking you're going to see that right front fender pop right back on. There you see, unfortunately, 48 truck still, I think, probably taking a tow. And yep, there goes fast pair, that number 53 truck. So that's it for him. He has used his one fast pair that he has available. And I can also tell you strategy side, Dude Conrad 4 tires, Rick Sanchez, fuel only out of that number 5 truck. So he said, you know what? I need to get back to the front. I want to get that track position back. I know I'm not going to be happy about the handling of my truck compared to these guys around me, but track position right now more important to me. And also, this fuel window, there's going to be a really big window of when you want to make your final pit stop, because we're going to restart this thing with 41 to go. We know these guys can go over 30 laps on fuel. So again, based on that, I mean, these guys could pit in 10 laps. They could pit all the way to almost 10 to go. So there's going to be a big range of decisions here. Do you want to try to see if you pit early, maybe spread the field out? Do you want to try to pit late and not trap a lap down? We'll find out as Rick Sanchez leads the field back to green. Dude Conrad to his outside. Teammate Adam Kilday right behind him there in third. I can tell you Ryan Decker is back out on track. He's just about to enter turn number 3. Unfortunately, the timing scoring on the left, you see he is back 3 down at the moment, but is the only truck a lap or more down, so he would need help, but there is a chance he can get back out there. And yes, Kermit is indeed back out in front in that number 5. Again, did do some pit strategy here. He had about a 6-second pit stop there just to go ahead and get to the front. And then for the rest of the field, these guys all pretty much took 4 tires and fuel. And then a couple trucks, notably Gabe Butler, Vicente Guerrero, Brandon Briggs, and Quabi Brooks, they all took a splash of fuel at the end. Again, it's not going to be a difference maker for them to make it to the end of the race, but it could play a role. And again, just maybe making that final pit stop just that little bit shorter, maybe help their chances out to getting a couple spots in and out of pit road. So, like I said, we'll see on that one. Fuel-wise, again, these guys can go, we've seen already, over 30 laps on fuel, so there still will be one more stop required for all of these drivers under green flag conditions. But again, the question mark is going to be when that pit stop potentially happens. Again, these guys, I think it's going to be pretty much a guarantee you will lose a lap pitting under green, so there's going to be a big risk versus reward, because again, if you get enough trucks to go in with you, that could leave those guys that don't pit right away. Maybe the pace is a little slower, and that could be, again, the more laps you're running faster than the guys that haven't pitted, that could jump you ahead of them. So it's going to be fun to see what strategies we see be pulled from here, but right now, let's say right now, not a lot of strategy at the moment. These guys all kind of just cruise control. I think that wreck kind of calmed them down a little bit here. Jim Brookstein, Wilkinson up top here. They're going to catch Ryan Decker here in a moment. Ryan's going to jump to that third lane, try to let those two on by. And then he should safely be able to, almost safely, be able to slot in right behind the two of them. And yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to pick up that draft speed, and he's right back in the thick of it here. So again, he's now 4 down, unfortunately. But again, the only truck a lap or more down, but would need 4 yellows in order to get back onto that lead lap, unfortunately. So at the moment, we have 18 trucks on the lead lap in this main pack, from Rick Sanchez back to the 53 of Quabi Brooks. Again, a lot of these guys went ahead and did some strategy, topping off, also maybe trying to do manual damage repairs, then opting to go ahead and take that fast repair. So yes, there's a lot there as well. Did note Kevin Freeze also had a lengthier pit stop, about 26 seconds in the 25 truck, so maybe a little bit of damage that he was able to take care of under that yellow as well. So right now, though, you see Jim's peeking up to the outside. Not sure if this is by strategy. I wasn't sure if he's trying to maybe let Dean go or just trying to give a kind of run the wide trial line there. But that's also a place you can be a little bit nervous about, because they say you do that towards the later points of the race, you jump way up top, there's a very good chance someone's going to try to fill that gap. But right now, like I mentioned, the 5 to 85, they are teammates working together here tonight. I'm guessing for Adam, his goal is to try to help out his teammate in the 5. And so like I said, I did also mention they are in the same Discord as Dean Wilkinson in the 55. So I'll be curious to see if the three of them maybe try to work together. And yeah, we'll have to see from here. And also for Ryan Decker, I mean, this could be important for him too. If he could find a way to get in front of these leaders, let them save off of him, he could again gain one of those laps back, and that way he would need one less yellow to get to the front, back to the front of this field. So there's also some things at play for Ryan, but the problem is right now he needs a pusher, and that's going to be what has to happen. Yeah, right now though looks like no early jumpers. So again, I still am intrigued to see. I feel like somebody's gonna want to take the gamble. But I'm looking at, I'm starting to spy on some teammates. The 8 truck isn't with them, with Dude Conrad, but I'm looking at these fellas, and as I say that, here comes the gamble. And again, it's so scary to do, but it looks like everybody got in safe here. So Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, Jack Walls, they're all coming in. Jason Bogart, Nick Wing. So that's a big pack here, all hitting pit road. This is coming to 29 to go. So again, this is in the window. So they're going for the gamble of short pitting. And again, this time they've got to be a lot more aggressive getting in and out of pit road. Maybe also more aggressive on their fuel strategy. I also am wanting to see, does anybody react to this? And so far the answer is no. And we have 2 trucks that are having a lot lengthier pit stops. Nick Wing at 28, he's going to unfortunately lose these guys. Frank Ranger Jr., I think unfortunately probably a pit penalty for him in the 17 truck as he's still on pit road. However, though, what you do see here is you've got 3, 4, 5 trucks here all lined up together pretty well. And so they're going to be able to get lined back up together. So once they get fully organized and back up to speed, we'll be watching the lap times, because that's gonna be the question. I think this will be the first full up to speed lap for those guys that had just pitted. So this time by was a 30.26 for Rick Sanchez, waiting for Jack Walls, who's leading that second pack, 30.75. So they were half a second slower. And so again, that's the gamble. And that's what these other drivers, they're going to be watching that. They're going to say, okay, they pitted. Hey, we just gained a half a second on them. We don't need to react to this. We can keep going. If that table starts to turn and starts going the other way, then it's going to be a whole other story. So again, I'm going to keep an eye on those lap times. Again, like I said, right now was a 30.37 this time for Rick in the 5. Going back to Jack Walls, 30.45, so quicker, but not faster than Rick Sanchez. So they did pick up time, but here's the issue right there. You can see the gap between the 51 and the 83. 51 needs to be tagged right up onto that rear bumper of this 83 truck, I should say, for this to work. We got a few hitting pit road now. It's going to be the Groovers. They are going to hustle onto pit road once again. Patrick, big lock up there. We'll see what he's able to do. If hopefully it's a clean entry and no penalty for him. I can tell you the Groovers are out of pit road and out together. Lap time wise, it looks like they have reorganized a little bit. Now I see Bud Steele and Jason Bogart. I think Jim Brooks maybe didn't feel as comfortable pushing that pack, so they said, okay, let's switch order a little bit here. So now Bud, the pusher behind Jack Walls, and I can tell you that last time by they ran a 30-16, Leaders a 30-44, so they were that time 3/10 quicker. However, those couple tenths that they kind of spent to try to build up that speed and get comfortable and all that, that's where the issue is right now, because they've been jumped by Seth and Patrick Groover by about 2 seconds, because there's the two of them. You come back here, there's those guys. So they're about to pick up their toe, and that's going to help speed up their pace as well. But right now, I don't see there's going to be a big any big gains from this strategy at the moment, because I just feel like the pace that these guys up front are going is enough to be able to hang on to what they're doing here. And then on the flip side of all this, there's also that option now where these guys that are in the back of the field just maybe saving fuel, they can maybe put a little less fuel in their trucks. That's going to shorten their pit stops as well. And again, even half a second will make a big difference. So I can tell you Seth and Patrick, they had about a 6-second pit stops for them. And it's the same thing for Jack Walls, Bud Steele and company. So right now, like I said, the top 9 trucks have yet to make their final pit stop. 10th through 18th, have made their final scheduled pit stops. So like I said, we'll have to kind of see who's going to kind of bite the bullet when to try to make that final call. All right, so while we're watching the front, boot knockers are in. Kevin Freeze, Dude Conrad, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, also bringing Vicente Guerrero and Brandon Briggs in. So this will be these 5 trucks, which will now... Oh, Dean Wilkinson down on the apron. Not sure if this is just for a pit or is he having maybe a fueling issue. I think this is by strategy here, so he's going to hop on in with these guys. But actually, really regains the time back there, so... I was a little worried he'd lose too much time doing that, but it looks like it's worked out fairly well. So now, though, this is going to be the first group to watch. Is going to be this group here. Vicente Guerrero will look out the back of him. He's starting to build up speed. Here come the Groovers. Here come Jack Walls and company with Roswell. And I think they will get jumped. Oh, wait, Vince is staying apron here. Did Vince have a pit penalty? Because he's staying on the apron. He might be coming back into pit road here in this 14 truck. And yeah, he is. So not sure what happened to Vince, unfortunately. Maybe a pit road penalty on exit. I can try to go back and look. Now Adam Kilday is going to be the truck leading the second pack that had just pitted. He, Rick Sanchez, and Dean Wilkinson. So now they're going to try to build up speed as quick as they possibly can. And again, you're going to see just out the right side here, or left side in this case. Yep, here come the Groovers. Still building up speed, but again, importantly, they're all going to pop out here together. So this is going to keep the field here all bunched together here. 17 to go at the line. At the moment, Patrick has the nose ahead over Seth as these guys start. Again, they're trying to see who can clear who. Couldn't happen. A little bit of contact to 5 to 85. Oh my goodness. What a save by Adam Kilday. Quick hands. Caught that truck. We saw everybody else give him room to try to react. Now everybody starts to make those moves, start jockeying around, and it's kicking off now. Everybody's starting to try to make those big moves to the end. I'm watching Gabe Butler as well. He's trying to roll just a little far enough off the back to pick up Eric Laurie to get him back into the mix of this thing as well. So, but yeah, right now though, like I said, it's pretty much gloves are off here. These guys are going to go for it to the end. So now up front you see Kevin Freeze and Rick Sanchez. They've taken the point there. Groover's there sitting still 3rd and 4th. And again, strategy-wise, it's everybody's in the same boat here. There was no 4-tire stops. There was nothing like that. Everybody's fuel lonely here. So everybody's pretty much got the same stuff here. So, contact between the 32 and the 85 on entry 3. Both trucks, against no issues. Nobody got out of shape or anything. Everybody stayed pointing forward. But this will be the longest that these trucks went on these fuel-only stops. So these tires could start to give later on in this run. But right now, though, a little breakaway from this field from the 40 and from the 25 and the 5. They've got almost a half a second on Patrick Groover. Patrick's actually jumping top here to pick up some draft from the 17. Now he's going to cut back low. But I got to say, I'm really impressed by what Rick and Kevin are doing here, because they're kind of running away with this a little bit. And if they can keep this up here and maybe even start to get up to a few trucks further up, including Nick Wing, who's coming up to Ryan Decker, they can start to stretch this even a little further, because last time by they ran 30.01, 30.02. The other guys behind them 30.17, 30.20. So they were almost 0.2 of a second quicker. Right now, this is where all the aggressive driving is. The 17 there stuck up against the outside wall. Whoop, wrong truck there. Is able to keep it up there, though, and will get able to safely be off the wall. But yeah, so unfortunately, that's going to cost him a bunch of track position and time. But like I said, right now up front, though, these guys everybody's still in this main pack here from pretty much 15th on up. 53 is a little further back than I think he'd like to safely be. But once again, though, that gap continues to grow just a tiny bit here. It's a little over half a second now. However, Ryan Decker's, I think, going to be the ladder that a lot of these guys are hoping for, because they're going to use him to pull back up to Kevin and Rick, with Patrick and Seth the ones leading that group up there. But this time by, we're going to be already down to 10 to go in this race. I can tell you Vicente is unfortunately 1 lap down at the moment in the 14. Nick Wing in the 28, he is the first truck 1 lap down for the Lucky Dog. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on that. And I think Nick, again, he's just trying to find a safe place to put himself. As you see, Ryan now, he's got up to those top 2. So this is, honestly, it's kind of singled out a little bit more than I expected. But I think it's truthfully just due to how good of a job the 5 and the 25 have been here working together. Rick just doing a great job pushing Kevin at the moment. So looking a little further back, you see just out in the distance there, Adam Kilday. He's starting to drop a little further back too. He's got Jack Walls, Bud Steele, and Jason Bogart, and Quabi Brooks right there. Jim Brooks as well. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Quabi Brooks has fallen off the draft, it looks like. So it's Jim Brooks is the last one. So they've dropped the 53, unfortunately. He's going to try to see if he can maybe use that 17 as a ladder to pull back up. But right now, though, like I said, these top 2 with 8 to go, 5 and then 25, they've got a lap car in between themselves and the competition. So we'll just see. I mean, this is a tough spot to be in for Ryan here. Does he stay in this pack? Does he go ahead and try to do something? Look at this. Rick's going to jump up top here. Ryan's going to look like be the pusher for him. Yes, Ryan's going to pick him up here. And they're not too far from the 14 truck as well. So right now, Kevin's going to feel like a lonely man right now in that 25, because he's got no help here. And this is a big, I mean, that's something that you really want to see if you're that number 5 truck, is you've got a truck that locked onto you and is going to push you. And I'm trying to remember, was it maybe a Rick that pushed a Ryan Decker to a win? I feel like it was Jacob Lee, if I'm not mistaken. But as I say that, almost contact there between the 5 and the 48 there. And I say that cost them some momentum, because look at Kevin Freeze. He just got a huge head of steam here, able to get around the 48 and up alongside the 5 here as they head into turn 1. Once again with 6 to go, Brandon Briggs has started to make his appearance known as well. So like I said, now things are about to get spicy. The 14 truck is about to get put 2 laps down, and these guys are, again, nobody's going to want to give an inch right now, so things are going to get very aggressive. I think Kevin's been taking care of his tires, because that truck looks to be handling a lot more comfortably some of these other trucks. And actually, I'm going back to that caution flag pit stop. If I recall correctly, Rick took fuel only in that 5 truck, so he's actually probably a lot worse off on tires than these trucks around him. So that might be what we're seeing out of the 5, is he just doesn't have the outright handle that some of those guys that took those 4 tires under yellow did. So Rick's probably got a bit more of a handful than some of these other guys here, but we're 5 to go, coming to 4 to go here. And so again, at the moment, right there at the line, Kevin Freese just a nose ahead. He had the lead at that line, and then Rick second, Brandon Briggs third. But again, it's all going to change here in the next couple of laps. You see Dean Wilkinson, he's just popped into the mix here as well. Obviously, the Groover brothers, always a threat in these races. I see our points leader entering tonight, the number 8 of Duke Conrad. So yeah, so there's a lot for these guys to play for. And again, Jason Bogart was the truck 1 point behind Jude Conrad. And right now, Jason, unfortunately, he's actually dropped back as well in the 10. So right now, Dude looking at trying to possibly extend his points lead on Jason. But there's somebody else that's maybe a little further back. Let's say, actually, I'm looking back to see. Dude's actually looking pretty good in the points where he is right now, because a lot of his competition is not up where he is. So as things are looking right now, that 8 truck's probably in a pretty safe spot here. And so he's going to be wanting to probably limit those risks on his end as well. But yeah, so right now, though, again, some of these guys dropping back, like I said, the 10, the 51, the 53. So we've got 2 to go. And I'm going to say, if this thing goes to the white flag, it's pretty much a 10-horse race. But what I love, though, is the handling has really come into play here. And it looks like Ryan Decker's staying fairly committed here to the back of that number 5, Rick Sanchez here, as these guys just need to get through this set of turns here, and they'll get that white flag, and from there it will be an official race. As they come through the tri-oval, white flag is out. This is the final lap here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Rick's got a good nose out in front. Ryan Decker, oh, Gabe Butler, big slide there. Eric Lorry's going to try to jump to his outside. Kevin doesn't have any help to his outside. So right now, I'll say Ryan Decker's doing a great job. That could open the door for Dean Wilkinson to grab a runner-up, a little bit of contact between the 25 and the 48. Kevin's got some momentum here. I say, oh, Brandon Briggs up in the wall, 54 into him. At the line, though, it's going to be no question. It will be the number 5, Rick Sanchez, getting the win here at Atlanta. Kevin Freese will just edge out Dean Wilkinson for that runner-up spot. And then Dude Conrad going to bring it home in 4th. So again, unfortunately, the race didn't go to plan for the 48, but he got to play a big role in helping out that number 5 truck get the win here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Rick waiting for the fielders. Ryan Decker going to celebrate with Rick. Oh, no. Here comes a wild Jason Bogart there. Rick's burnout's going to become a little short end of there. But Ryan's going to help him out. He's going to give him some love and give him a push somewhere if that truck will roll. But unfortunately, I don't think that truck's rolling anywhere. So that's an unfortunate way to do that. But yeah, though, great race, though. We're going to definitely be asking about tire wear and strategies and all that. So what we'll do is, before we get to our formal interviews, let's go ahead and pull up those final results here. As there's Dude sliding through the grass here as well for good measure. Let's pull up those final results. Like I just mentioned, Rick Sanchez getting the win over Kevin Freese. Kevin able to jump Dean Wilkinson by just 0.06 of a second there at the very end. Dean with that big charge there in the last lap. You got Dude Conrad, Eric Laurie there, Gabe Butler. So you got 4 of the Bootnaka team there in the top 6. So great job by them. Patrick Seth Groover 7th and 8th. Adam Kilday, Brandon Briggs, our top 10 drivers. Then Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Jason Bogart, Jim Brooks, and Kwabi Brooks. There are lead lap finishers. And then in 16th, Nick Wing, 1 down. Vincente Guerrero, apologies, I'm off the line. Vincente Guerrero there, 2 laps down, unfortunately. And then Frank Ranger Jr. in 18th was 4 down. And then, unfortunately, these guys, again, not the nights they wanted there. However, for Ryan Decker, finished 19th, but got to be the one to push that number 5 truck to the win here tonight. And then, unfortunately, early retirement for that number 04 and 20th of Ambrose Kniebel. All right, now let's go find some drivers. We're going to start off with that number 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Gotta drag him all the way up. There we go. Gotta grab that Dean fella in here. So what we will do is we will jump back because we got to get a good look at that number 55 machine. All right, so we're going to grab our third place finisher here tonight, Dean Wilkinson. And Dean, I mean, obviously this is a track where tires and are definitely one that play a role in tonight's race. We saw the first green flag pit stop. Everybody took tires. Then we had a caution, tires again, and then the last pit stop, fuel only. And to me, it did seem like that final run towards the very, very end, there was maybe the last 5 or so laps, the tires started to seem like these trucks were maybe not the happiest with the rubber that was left on them. I mean, take us through what you were feeling in the truck for the last portion of the race.
Yeah, the truck was getting really tight once those left sides started going. I took left sides, Adams with me, and he didn't take any, and yeah, he lost quite a few spots. So Rick, myself, who were running together, took left sides, and I just managed to. We had to let off in 1 and 2, I think it was, and yeah, tires were important for that last run, at least 2 of them.
Yeah, no, it definitely showed. I mean, hindsight 2020. I mean, of course, it's so much quicker to just do a fuel only pit stop there at the end. I mean, do you think there would have been enough? Like, if let's say you short pitted and took tires there at the end, do you think that would have been something that could have been worthwhile to try to chase everybody back down, or is that something that would have just probably been too much to try to regain?
Yeah, I probably would have burned off those tires just to catch the field. So no, I'm glad I made the decision I did.
I mean, it worked out. Say a podium time. I said you were able to kind of hug the bottom, almost able to sneak for that runner up behind Kevin there, or around Kevin, I should say. They're locked on behind the 5 and the 48 there. So, I mean, you chose the right lane at the right time, and obviously kept those tires in good enough shape, because towards the very end, people were starting to fall off, but you did a really good job of keeping those tires in check, man. So, yeah, just awesome job tonight getting that podium, and definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight.
Thank you guys, Green White Checker TV, for broadcasting. Always enjoy it. Area 51, great league. All the drivers, because again, I'll keep saying it, without good drivers, we don't have good races. So thank you, drivers. It was fun running with Rick and Mr. Kilday. So congratulations to Rick again. Good job.
Great job tonight, Dean. I say got one more to go for the Sunday series, so look forward to seeing you go for another podium, ideally a couple spots up. But yeah, great job tonight, man.
Thank you. Good night.
Apologies. Pulled Dean just a teeny bit early there. I'm going to get him over back with his teammates, though. So now we got to jump to this truck right outside of him. That is going to be that number 25 of Kevin Freeze. And Kevin, you didn't have your teammates right there with you, and it seemed like everybody was up. Say they were kind of out to get you on that one. Like, yeah, playoff or no playoff. Let's ditch this Kevin fella.
Yeah, it goes like that sometimes. But thought I ran a pretty gosh darn good strategy there, and yeah, just didn't work out when you got 3 or 4 lined up on the bottom and nobody out your rear view.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't something I would have expected to see there at the end. You'd think someone would be like, hey, I can push him. That'll give me my best finish. But honestly, too, I don't know if it's that as much as just it seemed like the tires kind of they kind of hit their limit towards the end there, because we were little by little, we were seeing more and more trucks kind of would fall off the back of the pack. And so instead of it being that full, I think 15 trucks, it turned into about maybe like 10 or so that were in the close draft window at the end. I mean, I know you're really good at managing your tires at a track like this one, where they actually do wear and they play a big role in it. Was that what you were having to do during the final kind of 2 green flag runs, if you will, including the pit stop, to try to just keep some good in the tires to make sure you had enough at the end?
No, I pretty much I drove the wheels off it on the last run there, because even if somebody got in front of me, I thought I could manage the dirty air, and the one time I was able to clear around both of them, because Rick, I don't know if he was on tires, but I know I had right side tires. I don't think much of anybody else was, which is why I thought I was in an all right shape, because they got somewhat bunched up there. I think it was in 3 and 4, and I just drove around them the one time, and then yeah, then it just said everybody lined up, and then that changed really quick. Because while the tires matter, it helps a lot more when you got somebody in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, it's always good to have a friend there. So, like I said, you'll have to go find your stepbrother to give you a push for the next couple races. Next race here on Sundays, the next couple obviously on Thursdays as well. So yeah, go
Yeah,
find your best friend and see what you can make happen tonight or in future races after tonight. But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I mean, it was a great run. Obviously, I'll say I'm sure you were smiling because you didn't have to worry about any fuel saving. You guys were just pretty much, even with the caution timing, you guys were just full tilt to the end. And then
yeah,
I said the main thing I wanted to talk to you about was then the pit strategy. We saw the Roswell guys; they all short pitted right about 30 to go on the dot. Obviously, it's a big risk reward to short pit because you do go a lap down here. At that point, are you watching lap times or intervals? Or I mean, what are you doing to know, hey, we need to react to them, or is it, are you pretty much just the whole time you're just I'm running our strategy that we had set already?
I just wanted to push as much as we could, because the the advantage we're gonna have is on the back end with where what they made up on the front end with tire. If they took any, I don't even know if they did, and it doesn't look like
I
they
don't
took
think
any.
so. Yeah, everybody had like
Yeah,
6 second pit stops.
yeah. So our plan was to take right side tires anyway. So we're just gonna run in and hopefully not lose the good out of the right sides because they do loosen you up quite a bit, which makes the car pretty fun to drive. So that was our plan, but uh, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was a good run. I mean, obviously you had good pace, and I'm saying the thing is like it wasn't a bad race for you and your team. Just you guys weren't able to get locked on at the end there. Because I mean, you got second, dude fourth, fifth was Eric, Gabe was sixth. I mean, you guys are all right there together. So I mean, four of you in the top six is obviously still a really great result. So as a team, so
Yeah,
yeah, so I'd say if you guys were able to just maybe have gotten formed a few laps before, it'd probably be a different story. But either way, though, I mean, still a hell of a job. Obviously, I know you're playing the team game. I can tell you that dude's now got a 10-point lead going into the finale next week, so he'll be
there we go.
breathing a little easier. Obviously, you can never sit on your laurels there, but yeah. So I
No,
mean, a great job though. Obviously, I know you've been pretty dedicated to working with him and Eric as well. So yeah, just an awesome job though for you, man. And definitely want to give you the floor though for any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight.
yeah. Thank you for putting on the broadcast and all the broadcasts for us. It's a lot of work for you and not a lot of reward, but they're great to go back and watch and just see some of the times that we have in these races because they're all, especially tonight. It seemed like the pack stayed pretty tight. So shout out to the drivers for doing that. Shout out to Eric, Gabe, and Dude. Had a great run tonight, and hopefully we can keep it rolling and lock that championship up for Dude.
Yeah, I will say it'll be fun to see you guys work that one out next week at Daytona. But yeah, go enjoy this one. Like I said, it was definitely a well run, and honestly, I'm gonna say I enjoy this. It's a lot of fun watching you guys put on great racing. And so that's the thing is it's fun because of what you guys do on track. So yeah, so I appreciate you guys almost making it easy for me, truthfully. So but yeah,
Yeah.
great job though tonight, Kevin. Definitely looking forward to seeing you the rest of the way.
All right. You have a great night.
Thank you, sir, you as well. All right, that leaves us one truck to chat with. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to we'll pull back a lap to show off that number 5 truck before it may have been missing some pieces. I say there's already an apology and even in the YouTube chat there, Rick. But and I can't say I haven't done that myself, so I can't.
I heard that was the best one so far, the best donut so far.
It was a good donut. It was so you got all of it out of it right off the bat. But so man, I mean, obviously you had a pretty eventful one tonight because you weren't up front the whole time, and you probably of everybody had to work the hardest there at the very end because that caution flag pit stop, everybody took tires except for this number 5 truck because you wanted to get that track position back that you had lost. So I mean, how much of a handful was it for you at the end, knowing that you probably had, I want to say, at least 10, 15 plus more laps on your tires compared to the other guys?
Yeah, it was pushing quite a bit. I was having a checkup going into the corner, and but Yeah, I don't know. I think I got quite a bit of help from behind and beside me. So
Yeah, I say it looked like you got a little bit of love. I say Ryan had a bad night, but say at some point he was able to tuck up with you
yeah,
and
he
get you to the
stayed with me.
front.
I
And
know.
so I'm trying to go back to previous races. Is there a race where Rick was Ryan's buddy and Ryan was ready to repay the favor?
I don't know. I feel like I need to get behind Ryan and push him. I don't remember.
Well,
There's so many of these races.
as I say, yeah, between the two nights here, yeah.
And yeah, I've always felt like he's right there with us all the time, and just to push away. And you know, I like to push guys to their first wins, and I think he got one. I wasn't there, and that's what I went up and told him. It was a good win. I wished I'd have been there with you. I
Ah,
remember what
maybe.
happened. We
Well,
fell back because of a pit stop or something we messed up with, and I missed that opportunity. But I'm still looking for my opportunity.
well, I mean, you're making friends, obviously, so that always helps as well. I say we've got so you've got a lot of us excited fam. I can tell you, saying you've been formally deemed Hotlanta King Sanchez, so I figure I'll pass that along to you as well. And I mean, I have to say though, I mean, Atlanta's definitely been one of, I feel like maybe statistically, I think probably one of your better tracks, just from racing with you and obviously broadcasting. Like I feel like there's a lot more often than not, Atlanta's one where you seem to be in a better spot to contend for the wins at the end of these than obviously, granted you're there a lot in general, but I feel like Atlanta is always one that stands out just that little bit extra to me. I mean, is this one that you feel like you maybe not excel at, but just you feel more confident at, or is it just one of those ones where it's like, I don't know why it's been working this way, but I'm not going to complain?
Yeah, yeah, just comfortable here. I don't know why. I always have. That last stop, I only took left sides, and I was questioning. I should have took all four, but I didn't want to lose as much ground that late into the drive. If we had had 20 laps, I probably would have went ahead and took four. Um, yeah, that's the only time I've struggled is when I take two or don't take any. And this time, and there was this one time with the Xfinity cars where I struggled because I didn't take the right amount of tires I should have. And but any other time, I I feel real comfortable here and don't seem to get loose or push and can pretty much drive it anywhere, top or bottom. So, and like I said, you get a friend behind you and can't go wrong. So,
Yeah, friends are good to have, and I can tell you too. I'd say obviously you haven't had the best of luck initially off on the first couple playoff races. However, you jumped 5 spots up to third now, and honestly, I mean, it's 11 points is 11 points, but at the same time, it's only 11 points. I mean, so I mean, it's obviously it's still on the outside looking in, but I mean, you're also only 1 point behind Jason, so you're in a really good spot for if not a top, either for not winning the title, at least a top two, top three in there. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot to play for. I mean, do you look at that, or in the position you're in, you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to try to go max points, get the win, and just kind of see where the chips fall here after next week.
yeah, really, I mean, that's all you can do is go out and win the race and see where the guys behind me finish, you know. Uh, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm just want to go have fun and let them guys win a championship, you know, not get in the way and not press the issue. That's for sure. I'm not gonna put anybody in jeopardy or myself.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how you race week in week out. I mean, you're of course going to try to get the best result you can for yourself. And we just got to the point of an interview where a wild Jason Bogart appeared and unfortunately cut your. Although you did do a couple of good little spins afterwards, I must admit. But yeah, no, I mean it's gonna be fun to see. Like I said, you're right there. Like I said, 11 out, right above you is Jason there. 10 points out of lead with Dude leading. So and then you've got an 8 point cushion over Eric and Seth. So there's some wiggle room for you to be able to do something with. So it's gonna be fun to see what you got in store for next week. As I said, just see where the chips may fall because it'll be Daytona. It's maybe not as a wild card of a track as Atlanta Night Racing, but it's gonna be a lot of fun to see you guys battle out for that title. So before we let you go, I'll say definitely want to give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts. Like I said, you got a lot of fans over on YouTube, so definitely want to give you the floor for that win tonight, man.
Oh, always Area 51. Good league. Always have good races over here. Green, white, checkered, always putting on a good show for us. Love watching the replays. And Shout out to the sponsors that back us up: 4D Racewear, Whiplash Sim Cams. Shout out to the family. Shout out to all the other drivers. Shout out to the butlers. I was glad I was able to get the Butler tribute truck into the victory lane for them, and always sending prayers out their way, and hope things are doing good and looking up.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. So great job tonight, and yeah, definitely sentiments definitely agreed with on my side as well. So yeah, great job tonight, man. And I say look forward to seeing you go for it there at the end next week. So go enjoy this one though.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, heck yeah.
All right, that is our race winner. Unfortunately, I'd say that truck looked pristine just a little bit earlier, but like I said, it's just, there was some Sunday driving going on at the end. But either way, though, I mean, again, a great race, though. These guys put on a really, really good show. So it was a lot of fun to say. I think just the one yellow and just really tough, hard racing, but clean racing at the end. And yeah, that was a lot of fun for me and hopefully for everybody watching. So that said, for Sunday nights, we've got one more after tonight. That'll be the finale at Daytona. We got 2 more on Tuesday night and 3 more on Thursday night. So there's still some racing left to go in the season. Like I said, we'll be back again here in just 2 nights' time for the Area 51 Dark Horse Series. And I believe we may be at Kentucky Motor Speedway, if I am not mistaken. And I'm going to clarify that right now to let you all know. And yes, Kentucky Motor Speedway. And then on Thursday, we will be running race number 2 of the playoffs at iRacing Super Speedway for the Xfinity Series. So, if you're available, always pop in, watch. I say we love the support from everybody cheering on their favorite drivers, chatting with us. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching, supporting us here at Green White Checker TV with the Area 51 Racing League. So, as always, though, hope you enjoyed it. And of course, take care, stay safe, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.